Hyperfixation, a complete obsession or absorption into a particular task or a subject of interest. I spent every waking hour to look into this thing. Let me explain. Once upon a time, like 2 years ago or something, I don't know. I was on my little computer, sitting in my crusty, creaky chair, wasting time watching YouTube, which led me to discover this thing. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. What is that thing? It has the old Osu logo on it. It looks like a arcade game? Wait, is that an Osu arcade game? Are you telling me? Before making this video, I wasn't sure if this thing actually did exist, so I scrambled to do the research, and to my surprise, the Osu arcade cabinet thingy did exist. My mind right now, I've never seen such a thing before. When I saw this thing in the YouTube video back then, I had a hard time believing this thing was real, so I shoved this in the back of my memory until now.
Leave me alone!
And when I suddenly remembered this thing,
the woman was too stunned to speak.
So, what is this thing? It's literally an actual Osu arcade cabinet. It was an Osu arcade cabinet made by the man himself, the legendary Peppy! If you somehow don't know who he is the creator of Osu, aka Dean Herbert. Let's start from the beginning. Going back to all the way... Hold on, a little further. A little further. There we go. All the way back in January of 2010 at an anime convention called Waicon in Perth. Hang on, where's this? Oh, Australia. Perth, a city in Australia. The Osu arcade prototype made its little debut. Yay! This thing was a version of Osu, but it was built to be a touchscreen. It all began when Peppy had been volunteering at this convention for 2 years. And then this happened. The legendary one-of-a-kind idea spawned into his head. Peppy had the desire to see Osu being brought to this little anime convention, and possibly see Osu grow from this. So with this, Peppy began to craft the prototype. This prototype was a fully self-contained arcade cabinet version of Osu, along with a custom-made hardware and arcade-specific branch. On the night before the convention, the prototype was set up and ready to go for users the next day. A lot of people who helped set up the convention actually started playing with the machine. Since this thing was basically a very, very big iPad, lots of people tried it. The prototype would be needed to be wiped off a lot because all the nasty germs and stuff from people playing on it. Later that night, Peppy got some helpful feedback about his Osu machine, and went back later to stay up to fix some of those changes. Most of the feedback was about the song select being kind of wonky, and some others were about how it was confusing when you first go to play the game. At this event, the Osu arcade was extremely popular. Like, I mean, really, really popular. Throughout this event, someone was always trying to play on this machine. On the Osu forum I got this information from, Peppy also mentions sometimes there'd be so many people surrounded by this machine that you couldn't even see. Some other things that people mentioned while they were at the convention were sore fingers. When playing spinners or you played for a long while, your fingers would get sore. Hi, this is Editor Kuma. So, as I thought I was done doing research, I found more footage of this thing. I thought there was limited footage or pictures of this thing, so wait, where'd it go? No! Where'd it go? Oh, okay, here you go. This user, Kingking9, has a lot of pictures of the Osu Arcade V1, first of all. There's too many pictures of me to just put in a slideshow, so I'm just gonna show them to you. Here's them working on the machine. Wow. Pineapple. Oh my gosh.
Hi.
Oh my gosh. The machine. It's okay. That's actually super cool. Oh my god. Oh my god. Yeah, you could. Okay, this machine. Oh my god. Bro's showing us the internals. Okay, this is the mini ITX motherboard. That goes in here. This is the SSD. This is the motherboard. This is the graphics card right here. I have no clue what this graphics card is. Hi, it's Editor Kuma again. That thing is a Radeon HD 5770. Okay, back to your video. The power supply in the back. Whoa! Oh my god. Bro, put them feet away! Here's the internals. Oh my god. It's on the floor. More of it on the floor. Oh my god, this thing is bigger than I thought it would be. I wonder how much this thing weighs. We've got it working with some speakers. Very cool. And it with more speakers. Okay. That's it from me. Back to your scheduled video. Now, if you were to just search up Osu Arcade, you're going to see a few variations of the arcade cabinet. Some literally look like this, or this, but beware! because these are not actually real, these are fake. Nevertheless, I do want to shift our focus onto this other Osu version though. This thing. This was another version, or as Peppy would call it, would be the Osu Arcade V2. This other thing we just talked about was V1, so why don't we move on to the second version, V2. I couldn't find an exact date, but I believe Peppy started working on V2 around early 2012, because videos of this were posted around then, and then there was an Osu forum post around late 2013. This will come as a surprise. So, there are public documents on the inner workings of the Osu Arcade V2. Let's take a look. Hold on, scroll back up. There we go. It consists of wood that surrounds the edges and houses the components. The screen is a 22-inch screen, which is basically the size of your average monitor. 2 car speakers on the side that face upwards towards the person who's using it. You've got your mini ITX motherboard, or at least I assume it is. Peppy mentions in his 2020 blog, but didn't mention if he used a specific one. The power supply is in the back. I think the big block in the middle is the car amplifier, but correct me if I'm wrong. We got the subwoofer on the top right. Lastly, the lights. The lights were controlled by a small Arduino, and light strips you can see that are obviously on the sides. There's this extra thing on the side that I want to show you guys too. Let me just unblur that for you so I can just tell you what it is. Oh, it's the subscribe button! Of course, of course. You should subscribe to my YouTube channel! And hit the like button if you haven't already. Or else. If you were curious about the specs of the Osu Arcade because you're a nerd like me, here you go. I have a link to this in the description. Here's more pictures. I forgot to add that there are rubber edges for the screen and for the feet. I think there's another version of the Osu Arcade, but I'm not entirely sure. Osu Arcade V2 looked like it was only able to rest on a table, while you can see that other pictures or videos of the Osu Arcade cabinet were on a stand. So I have no idea if V2 could be mounted onto a stand, or Peppy just made another version which would probably be called V3. Ever since the Osu Arcade V1, the Osu Arcade has since evolved, obviously. Both V1 and V2 don't actually run Osu. Huh? What do you mean by that? You literally just showed us videos of people using the darn thing. The heck are you talking about? Yes, that's true. Unlike the traditional Osu experience, Osu Arcade ran on a little something called Osu Stream. What is Osu Stream? Osu Stream was made back in May 8th, 2010 and released on August 2011. I don't think the Osu V1 used that because V1 released in January while Stream was released in May, but also the screen displayed is probably regular Osu because of the interface difference. But anyway, I'm pretty positive V2 did because you can see the Osu Stream screen. Osu Stream is a version of Osu made entirely from scratch, specifically for iOS devices. So like the iPhone, iPad, and on the website it even says it can even run on iPod Touch. Keep in mind that I'm talking about when this came out in the early 2010s, by the way. This was really meant to experiment with the idea of an Osu game on mobile platforms. The codename for this project was Osu M, as in Osu Mobile. Osu M? Osum? I don't even know. So since people were playing these on these devices, the devs would need to target one specific thing. Back then and even today, you would probably play Osu on your computer. However, this version of Osu was targeting phones and early iOS devices, so the devs knew optimization was key. If you were wondering about an Android release, sadly there wasn't. There were a few test builds, but there were way too many issues. There was also multiplayer. With a LAN multiplayer server, 2 Osu streams are able to run at the same time, so you can compete with your friends. You were even able to see your friend touch the screen as you were playing multiplayer because there was no latency. Also, something I found interesting when I was looking for footage is that if you visit this YouTube video and go down all the way to the comment section, Peppy leaves a link to a poll in a really old Osu forum from 2012. Peppy mentioned something about a bottleneck when mapping for Osu Stream. On this same forum post, if you scroll way down, you can see another post made by Dacrius, who helped manage Osu Stream. Now I know I'm just yapping about Osu Stream, but for extra intricate details about how mappers used to map for Osu Streams, you can visit the description. There's a Google Doc that has all these details. I am gonna warn you that a lot of the links provided in the Google Doc don't really work, so look out for that. This video is supposed to be about the Osu Arcade, and not every detail about how Osu Stream worked. Anyway, here's one last bit of Osu Stream talk. Where is Osu Stream now? If you happen to check the Apple Store, literally as of right now, the latest version is from 2020. As of 2020, Peppy has announced that he is no longer working on Osu Stream. The death of the Osu Arcade. So, what happened? What caused the Osu Arcade to slowly fade into obscurity? Well, there isn't an exact reason specified why Peppy stopped production on the Osu arcade, but there are a few things we can piece together to assume why he stopped. Number 1, the shift in focus on other projects like fixing bugs on Osu Stable, kind of fixing Osu Stream, and eventually moving on to other projects. Number 2, the Osu arcade is still a prototype, and Peppy would have needed to shift more focus onto it rather than focusing on other things that could be improved. With that, I'm gonna say the Osu arcade timeline was from 2010 through 2013. There were literally like no updates from 2014 and like beyond. So yeah, let's move on to my thoughts. No, I don't mean those thoughts. Honestly, I think the Osu arcade cabinet is an extremely unique and interesting concept. I've been to an arcade a few times, and I've played the rhythm games there, but I think it would be really cool to see a real Osu arcade in an arcade. Maybe at pop-up events, or maybe even at some anime conventions. But anyway, I believe Osu outside the computer, phone, or tablet can be definitely something else. Even the local multiplayer aspect thingy was absolutely bending my mind. Honestly, I think this thing should be brought back. When I was looking for videos of people playing Osu Stream and Osu Arcade for my little personal research project, which is the video you're watching right now, I found that a lot of the comments were about how they wished to play on it. Some people also wanted to buy it as well. I 100% agree. Take my money. Hello? It's me again. I'm sorry, you have to keep hearing back from me. Every time I'm looking for like footage or something, I always end up finding something new. This rabbit hole is way too deep. Anyway, I found this comment from this video here. This one. And I believe the comment about okay, so this is about how if you want to purchase Osu Arcade, he says, not sure, cost was too high to warrant it at the moment. If you really want to place an order, you'd be looking at 6K a piece. Oh my god. Also, ITG plays nothing like Osu. Alright, you can... Okay, back to your show. I'm sorry I keep interrupting. Some things I've noticed that were different from Osu, Osu Stable, or from Osu Laser if you want to consider that one too. These circles that are across from each other, and you can tap them at the same time. Also, there's this circle that you have to hold, and there's a little timer on them. And there's this weird L thingy that I can't figure out for the life of me what that thing is. If someone has the answer, please leave it in the comments. Where is the Osu Arcade now? Based on what I've looked into, it looks like Peppy says one machine is in Australia while another one is in Japan. But this was like a while ago, so it could probably be sitting in some like garage or something. I don't know. Can you somehow buy one? The answer is no. This thing was only ever a prototype and wasn't ever officially released for sale, you dummy. You won't be able to find this thing in any arcades or anything. There's a very slim chance, but if Peppy somehow finds this video, hello, hi. Anyway, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think for the Osu Arcade, you can technically build your own, you know, because the design documents are literally just out there. However, you cannot resell it. Like I mentioned earlier, you're not permitted to claim Osu as your own and sell it because of copyright. Please don't do that. Guys, I have an important message. This is for all my baby girls. I see your comments, ladies, and they make me smile. I'm lurking and stalking, you least expect it.
Subscribe to Kuma right now, right the fuck now.
And with that, hit the subscribe button and leave a like and possibly leave a comment.